Welcome to Hospice Talks with RC Healthcare. I'm Thomas Rupp, one of the chaplains here at RC, and we are here today with
Esther Narcissian, COO.
And on my right,
Timothy Henderson, the clinical supervisor.
we have a good topic to talk about today. You may also be able to relate, and that is this. We all have lost someone. Think about that for just a moment. I know Esther's going to have a good story to tell us right here. Turn it over to you, Esther. We all have lost someone.
We have. I've shared in earlier videos about how and when I lost my dad and how hard that was, and then unfortunately a couple years later we lost my grandfather, then my grandmother, and then my other grandmother, and it's just been a lot of loss. And I feel like sometimes it just happens in bunches, unfortunately. And I don't know if anyone out there can relate, but you go into this numbness of, okay, I guess this is normal right now. This is the season of losing. And I know for a long time for me, it took such a hard time to come back to feeling about grief and mourning and loss, where I'd go to funerals and I would just be like, I feel bad for them, but their pain was their pain, and my pain nobody can understand or relate to in my head, where I was like, you know, it's normal. They've lost someone, I've lost someone, it's okay. But I feel like I've come back to this place where loss has become real again. And I'm seeing that more through patients now, people that I'm connecting with, and they remind me of my loved ones. Do you ever feel like that?
Oh, yes. I hear or see things this way. I'm sort of the same way with you. In my youth, really, I had experienced no immediate loss or death, even into my young adulthood the same. But there came a time, as Esther has mentioned, and it seemed like suddenly it was on a roll. And now, in these past few years, we've been at a pause, but someone will say something that we're visiting, that I'm visiting, and it'll bring back a memory. Or there's even one person that we currently visit who sounds just like my mother. Oh. And so I get chills thinking, it's like, and so I try and enjoy that visit personally as well as for the person I'm visiting. I know, Tim, we've been talking before we started filming today. What's your experience?
Yes, absolutely. I haven't personally lost anybody quite yet, but as a hospice nurse, there's always those patients that you connect to on a deep level.
Oh, yeah.
There's just that one patient that you find and you just instantly fall in love with. I've had many of those patients, and when you lose that patient, it almost feels like you are losing a family member.
I remember hearing about this one a lot with you.
Oh my gosh, I loved her so much.
Every time something would happen, it's like, call me, I'll go. I can honestly say we had a patient that I could relate to like that. The man who was close to my father's age, my dad was 57 when he passed away, unfortunately. And he had the same diagnosis. He had 3 daughters. I think you guys might remember what I'm talking about. And we had to go jump through hoops to make sure that he was completely taken care of. I felt like I was fighting for my own dad. It was a very interesting thing. And I feel like that's why I love doing what we do, or being the COO of the company, where I can make a call, I can jump through a hoop, I can reach to whoever I need to make sure that patient's taken care of. But seeing how those girls just loved their dad so much, and it wasn't like, you know, dad's messed up, dad's done this. It was more like, he's been the best grandfather in the entire world. He's been there when I've needed him. And I mean, just walking with them and sharing that grief. It reminds me of that cultural word, a few you've probably heard before, is where you share the grief. It means to kisvel with me. It means to bring this, like, hey, let's share it together. Cut it in half. I'll take half, you take half. And I don't know, there's this sense of closeness, you know?
You know, when folks tell stories, it's happening here with me, maybe with you too, it reminds you of other stories. And so when someone says something in my head, I'm going, oh yeah. And when Esther was talking, it reminded me of a story as well. Regrettably, I don't know why, I cannot remember this person's name. But I remember a very brief tenure with one of our people, and he was a guitar player. And I went to visit him. And he played in bars and honky-tonks and whatever like that. But as he was in his final days, there was no one. So we were talking about different music he played. So one day I brought my guitar. and I started playing Creedence Clearwater Revival. The
Wow.
Lord stuck in Lodi again, and I played that little thing, and he sat there.
I love you, Tom.
And when it was over, he looked at me and said, "I love you." And I felt connected to him. I didn't even know him, really, but he felt that moment of love. And he knew he was leaving. He knew that this world was not much more for him, but we had a great moment of connection in our times of loss. Tim, I know you've probably shared this kind of emotion or feeling or connection.
Absolutely.
With people
you
we've
connect
worked
to them. They remind me of my grandparents, and there's some patients that you just connect to on such a deep level. I say, "Can I call you grandma?" And they fall in love with it.
What about the patient we have right now? Oh my gosh, we walked in. Unfortunately, she has Alzheimer's. She did not like me, which is so hard for me to accept. But the moment she sees Tim, and it's like, you're her grandson or something.
There's just certain patients that you get.
She knew the what's the word? She knew the brand of my purse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tori.
Yeah. I knew I visited a lady one time, African American lady, and she gave me a look over and she said, "Boy, I raised you." And again, with some Alzheimer's dementia, but I said, "And I'm back to see and say thank you. Appreciate you
I
raising
love
me,"
that.
and all that. But she had a connection in her brain with this white guy that was visiting her, and again, we rode the wave.
That's adorable.
And in that sense, that's what you got to do when we lose folks, especially our family, we'll say, but also people like you that we work with. We know that none of us are here forever.
Yeah.
And we have a birth, we have a life, and yes, we have a death. That's one reason why we're here today.
Absolutely.
We're here to serve you in your time of transition. Esther?
I want to add, being in hospice, working in hospice or not, if you see someone who's, transitioning or coming to a place of loss, spend that extra time with them. I remember, especially during the time of COVID, when nobody could visit their loved ones in the assisted living, one woman you just totally made me think of, the cutest lady in the world. I held her hand and she asked me to pray with her, and I'm not a chaplain. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say no to this woman. I prayed with her and she asked me, am I going to be saved? I said, yes, you are going to be saved. And I remember crying with her and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so alone. And if you're a person who works in healthcare or in assisted living or a caregiver, I love what you do. I bless you and I'm thankful for you. And that I hope you do not take for granted those times that you are during that time with those who need it the most. So just always remember that.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be alone. That's the thing. You don't have to be. Even if there are family issues or problems in that regard of your life, we have folks like us and the others on our team, our staff, who are here to be with you. That's part of our mission.
Absolutely.
To be with you, especially in this very important and ending time of your life. Everyone suffers loss.
And that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to become a hospice nurse. Is I've worked multiple different specialties. I've done bedside, I've worked in jails, I've done clinic nursing, but hospice is really a specialty where you get to spend time with those people.
Absolutely.
A visit could be 45 minutes to an hour, whereas if I was in a hospital, I might have 5-10 minutes with you. But as a hospice nurse, I can really connect with you and make sure all your needs are taken care of.
Absolutely.
And that's why hospice is such a dear and a special. That's why hospice is a specialty that's near and dear to my heart.
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting here thinking, and you might be listening, and you might be in need of the special care we can provide. Here at RC Healthcare and Hospice, we are willing and waiting for your phone call. Our number is 916-858-1440, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to serve you. We'd love to walk with you along the journey as you head out of this world. We're here for you. Please give us a call. Thank you again. You'll hear from us again. And until that time, God be with you.